Welcome to my next stream summary. Progressing from LV to MV. Last time we went from the Stone Age to LV until we had some of the first machines running to get crafting components faster and cheaper. But one major issue right now is that even I was producing enough steam, the transportation of that amount was not possible yet. And for that we need potent pipes, which require lead. For that reason, the first goal is now to reach the Twilight forest, because lead is only spawning over there. So I need to make the portal generator that is crafted with an assembler. So let's make the assembler. Also, for exploring, these piston boots are quite nice, especially combined with the glider. Then let's craft the portal generator. And throw it into this small water pond surrounded by flowers. That's it, we reached the Twilight forest. Close to the spawn was already the Naga maze, so let's fight it. With the upgraded crossbow and bolt, it was an easy fight. And then after some prospecting, I found a galena vein. It was time to clean up the base. So while the galena was processing, I made a few barrels. And these golden barrels will be used to store most of the items. This one, for example, is for monster loot. Next up, I did a carpenter from forestry. I wanted the golden compartment as crafting storage next to the crafting station. Then just store all the crafting components in there. The amount of slots is insane. I thought about upgrading it to diamond, but even now in mid MV I still have no need for a bigger one. I also needed a better way to make cables, so I made rubber the chemical reactor. Then, while resources were processing for making potent pipes, I went back to get more loot from the dungeons. The final floor is quite hard, but very rewarding. To have an easier time there, I need more damage. I found a cobalt sword part and also put more nether quartz on it. But then here I made a huge mistake. I found this ardite hammer part in the dungeon and thought this would be a nice upgrade. I didn't check how to make ardite ingots before replacing the tool. And it turns out ardite ingots are made with an EBF. Then, after a while, the pudding plates were ready to make some pipes. I've used some dirt blocks to lay out an ore processing area, and already moved the macerator to connect it here with the portal pipes. First, the old bronze pipes need to be removed. And then to replace them with the huge potent pipes. And everything seems to work. The macerator is running fine. But water was running low, and with the plant purifier on the way, I needed a water pump. After gathering all the ingredients, it was time to make the purifier in one large crafting chain. And now after building it, I could finally clean up all the crushed ore that was laying around in the chests. The problem was, steam supply was dropping low sometimes, and that was because creosote was not exporting automatically from the coke ovens. But this will be fixed by using these redstone clocks. They will trigger the faucets on the coke ovens. Next up was rushing the EBF as soon as possible before the hammer durability was running out. From the Twilight forest I got more nickel for cupronickel and sapphire for the aluminosilicate wool, because I didn't find any mica vein yet. Now the resources were processing, so I did a bit of a cleanup and moved the LV machines to the top. To make LV energy hatches, I need lubricant, and for that I need a distillery. Now let's get the piping done for the EBF steam supply. And after all the materials were done, craft the EBF with a huge crafting chain. Finally, the EBF and the trophy. But for maintenance, first we need a soldering iron. Then we can start constructing the multi-block. and now just the maintenance was missing. Okay, good. Now we can start making R8. Running the ore processing machines plus EBF and the other LV machines, I immediately ran into a power fail, because steam production was not enough. So I made another boiler to burn excess charcoal blocks. After the hammer was repaired and even replaced with cobalt version, it was time now for the last multi-block of the ore processing setup, the separator. Here later a second separator will be going to the right of the output hatch. Rotating that one around makes it possible to share almost the entire existing structure. I also still needed to move up the alloy smelter and steam oven. For my next exploration journey, I made the adventure backpack. It is very useful. Now to make MV circuits we need diodes, and for these gallium arsenide. Gallium is a bit difficult to get now, but electrolyzing tons of salarite will do it. And after a while and processing all of it, I made a few gallium arsenide crystals. But for now I wanted to take a break from Gregging and do a bit of Thaumcraft. First, gather some shard ores and put them in the oven. The first item to make is this mirror to scan stuff. I've played Thaumcraft before, but that's a very long time ago and I never did it in GTNH. I completely forgot how this mod works. We also need a research table, and an arcane workbench. By collecting the wand I also got this trophy. The reason why I want to get into Thaumcraft is this magical wood. It can make a hammer with 8 modifiers. Replacing the parts on the hammer with unstable ingots means you get an unbreakable hammer with 8 modifiers. Meanwhile I just scanned some random things to get more aspects. And to progress in Thaumcraft I also need to defeat all the bosses of the Twilight Forest. So let's start with the Lich. Then it took me some time to find the maze of the minor shroom, but here we are. And after a short fight, that's the next boss done. The Hydra after that, however, was easy to find, but the fight took way longer. The next hard to find dungeon was the one for the Night Phantom. Here you need to place the Hydra head on the pedestal. The fight itself was very easy though. Next up was the Tower of the Urgus boss, and this one was the most interesting actually. But it seems like I had a bug with mine, because only 2 of the 4 keys spawned in the chests, so I had to find another way through. And that was the Urgus boss, which I had to do twice actually to get enough materials for the magical wood. The Yeti after that was easy to find and also easy to fight. Now to the last boss, the Snow Queen. This fight was a bit more difficult, but she finally stopped moving at some point and I could get her. The other thing besides Thaumcraft and Twilight Forest was that I still needed to find an enchantment table. A viewer mentioned I should find another Highlands biome, and that's how I found also another tower. And here, luckily on the second floor, there was actually the hidden room with the enchantment table. Now, somewhere away from the base, we needed to trap an animal for the ritual. No! Oh, come on. Now, the second one was not that lucky though. And here it's done. We got the sigil. With that, unstable ingots can be crafted. To get the magical wood, however, still a bit of research and wand progression has to be done. One of the most important researches is the ability to scan chests. As you can see, it saves quite a lot of time. I didn't forget about the Greg though, and had materials crafted while doing magic stuff, to make now 3 more macerators for the ore processing area. Then I progressed more through the page of Thaumcraft in the quest book to get the golden banded greatwood wand. I also made a bunch of prime mushrooms to fill up the wand. To make the tinker's parts out of the magical wood and unstable ingots, an extruder is needed. Finally, now let's craft the magical wood. And then create the hammer parts out of it. Then first, create the hammer with the magical wood. After that, replace the parts with the unstable ones. Then add extra modifiers with the gold block and diamond block plus enchanted golden apple. Then add luck with lapis and the redstone for haste. As you can see, the hammer is quite fast, and after a few levels with more redstone, it will insta-mine stone. Now let's progress to the end of LV by making a processing chain for iron 3 chloride to make good circuit boards. Meanwhile, diodes were processing and now making the first MB circuits. These were just enough to make the circuit assembler, to make the LV and MB circuits cheaper. So make 2 of these holes. That is that quest done. Then let's start making a And just like that, I reached the MBH. Now I need to build more processing lines, scale up power production, advance the EPF, and many more things. But that is for the next video. If you want to see the process live, come join me on Twitch or here on YouTube when I stream. Thanks for watching. See you next time.